The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one
If
serving
you've ever
you.
turned down an invite to a wedding because the Red Raiders were playing, you've come to the right place. The home for Texas Tech sports is Double T 97.3.
Jamie, have you done that? Have you turned down an invite for a wedding because the Red Raiders were playing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. My wife has gone to more than one wedding without me because it was on a Saturday when I had to work a Tech football game.
Yeah. But, I mean, you were also, if you had your druthers, you'd rather go to a football game than a wedding, right?
Okay.
I think you'd rather go to a dentist appointment than a wedding.
You just wasted, at least 15 to 20 words that you'll never get back there, Chuck.
Okay. Jamie, you've been.
Is there anybody that's listening to this show that is a sports fan that would choose a wedding over a football game?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So probably didn't need to be asked.
I think probably on a daily basis, you don't waste 15 to 20 words. I waste 15 to 20 words in an hour, or half hour. So if we're on a, if and I've kind of wondered about this, wondering if your life is on a word count, like you get 70 trillion words in your life, and then once you get to the 70 trillionth, then that's it. You're gone. You're off to wherever you're going next. And I've worried about that because word economy is not something that I budget for.
I think you're going to be all right. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else dying because they ran out of words.
Ran out of words? Okay.
Yeah, we've heard of a lot of strange deaths or whatever, unfortunately, but I think you're going to be okay.
Wouldn't that be something, though, if there was a word?
No, that would be sad.
It would be a word counter, and you knew it's like you're down to your last trillion words, and then that counter came up, on your hand.
Well,
you got 72 words left. Better use them wisely.
I would like to think that if we knew that was a real thing, that both of us would have been smarter than to pick a different profession.
I don't know. I am a little different than you in that I love to talk. I love to. There's probably with the exception of when I'm asleep, there's probably not a whole lot of, which is not very becoming of me. But I can at least admit it.
I love how you feel the need to tell us that you love to talk. We're not aware.
We're not already aware of that.
I'm blown away. Every morning, this is how it works here at Double T 97.3 / 100.7 The Score.
Yeah.
Our show ends, and I close up my laptop and pick up my bottle of water and take my headphones off, and I go to my office. I immediately put them in my office, and I immediately turn around and then head down the hallway to go use the restroom. And I go use the restroom, and I then walk back down the hallway, and Chuck is still in the studio talking to Rob or David or Craig Wells. He's still in there talking sports to them, giving him. He also feels that they need his opinions to do their show. Okay. And I feel sorry for the guys because they're trying to, get in there, get a breath, get their bearings, get set up for their next show. As a matter of fact, I've noticed that Rob Bro has started waiting to the last minute to go in there.
Oh,
I think that's just because he's trying to avoid all the talk before the talk. Okay. So
I'm going to be better at that.
And then Jeff, you can jump in here. But throughout the course of the day, we'll be in our office, and we can still hear Chuck having sports conversations from the other corner of the building.
No comment.
Yeah, I might
You're a friendly guy.
I might resemble that remark.
People,
yeah.
Everybody needs to hear your opinions.
I feel that way. I'm not sure that everybody. Yes. I'm not sure everybody necessarily feels that way.
Chuck, if it makes you feel any better about your 70 trillion word limit,
yes.
If you said one word every second of every day for a year, that would only be 31,536 words.
Oh, okay.
So in order to get to a trillion, you've got a very long life.
Okay.
And then 70 of those makes that even longer. So I think if your number is 70 trillion words, you're safe for a while.
Okay.
We're still good. We're still good.
Okay, so if God's got me on a word count, then I'm looking for the 70 trillion variety.
I'm talking about the 70 trillion word. I don't know if he actually has you on a word count or not.
Yeah, it might have me on a 50,000 word count. Hey,
I think you're going to be all right, Chuck. I think you're going to be okay.
I was thinking about this. Braxton Fulford made his Major League debut last night. Unfortunately, he went 0 for 4 for the Rockies. He started at the catching spot, and he struck out 4 times. But, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, his last season with Texas Tech was 2021. And so my question to you is that a pretty short ride to Major League Baseball, or is that about the average ride of a guy that's like, okay, if you don't make it within X, then you got to start thinking about doing something else?
I think for a college player, that's about right. I think maybe you're probably thinking about Josh, and Josh dealt with a bunch of injuries that kind of set him back a couple different times. But I mean, the fact that Jace has already made it up as well. Yeah. So I feel like for an offensive college player, that's about normal.
Okay.
That's about normal. Yeah.
Because I was thinking, on one hand, hey, it was just 4 years ago. That seems like snapping of the fingers. And I'm sure if you were asked Braxton Fulford, like, hey man, I've ridden a lot of buses over the last 3 to 4 years to get to the spot that I'm in. So the road wasn't always smooth. It was bumpy at times. Glad to be here. Hope to stick. All those kinds of things. And maybe while 4 years doesn't seem like much as you get older, I'm sure 4 years for a guy that's trying to get to the show feels like, I paid some dues. And I'm not saying he didn't by any stretch of the imagination. It just seems like, well, that was a quick 4 years for him. Outside looking in.
Yeah, probably felt like a long time to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like he was about on schedule.
Okay.
Not late, not way early, anything like that.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Live time for this day in sports history. Today is Thursday, April the 17th, 2025. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1947, guys, Jackie Robinson bunts for his first major league hit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
1953, Mickey Mantle didn't bunt. Okay. He hit a 565-foot home run in Washington, D.C.'s Griffin Stadium. That's not a bunt.
No.
1983, Nolan Ryan strikes out his 3,500th batter.
Do you know who it was?
I do not. 1999, in the NFL Draft. First pick by the Cleveland Browns. University of Kentucky quarterback, Tim Couch.
Did not work out well for them.
Could I said that as soon as I said first pick by the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, right. No, that's right. That's. I always liked it when. No
offense, Risa. She's our resident Cleveland Brown fan, right?
When Pete Rozelle would announce that we had the first pick in the 1983 draft, the Cleveland Browns select. He kind of had a little interesting voice to him, but he could always make it a little dramatic.
And in 2016, the number 10 Texas Tech baseball team completed their fourth straight weekend series sweep when the Red Raiders downed San Diego State 7-2. Tyler Floyd drove in the first run of the afternoon with an RBI single in the second, while Michael Davis followed with a 2-run single an inning later. It is National Cheeseball Day. So we fit right in.
That was good, Jeff.
That was
really
good.
That was very good.
I don't care for the cheese ball.
Happy birthday, Jennifer Gardner, 53, Victoria Beckham, 51, Sean Bean, 66, even though you've seen him die in every movie he's ever been in, and Boomer Esiason is 64.
Boomer Esiason is 64. Okay.
On this day, not a good day to be near Cuba in 1961. Bay of Pigs invasion begins when a CIA-financed and trained group of Cuban refugees lands in Cuba and attempts to topple the communist government of Fidel Castro. The attack was an utter failure.
Yeah, it did not work out for JFK that day.
It didn't work out for anybody involved except for Castro, who outlived everybody that was involved.
Yeah.
And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history. Wow, that was a quick one. 6:47 this morning here on the morning drive. I see where you're talking about here that today's the the anniversary of his 3,500th strikeout, but I'm still struggling to see who he did it against. Man, let's see here. Yeah, I can't. Even the quick Google machine. Oh, here it is. How about this? The Astros are in the National League at that point in time. His 3,500th strikeout was against the Hawk, Andre Dawson. I mean,
what did that?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
What did what?
Well, was Nolan with the Astros or the Rangers when he got that?
The Astros.
He was with the Astros?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here in, a matter of days, his next outing, he'll get to 3,509, which will move him past Walter Johnson on the strikeout list. So that's coming up to this day in sports history near you. Very, very near you. Okay? Very near you. Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I feel sorry for Coach Gurley. Chuck gives her an earful of. No, I really don't. I really don't. I do know my distance and I do know my limits. I try to be aware.
Is that a new thing?
No, that's not.
I mean, I know you've been working on it for a while. I just didn't know if you'd actually completed it or not.
There's some that don't get the full Chuck experience because I know that they don't necessarily want the full
Chuck, that's
experience.
not fair to them.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it's very fair to them. I think sometimes it's, just a little. I do have some self-awareness.
This show wouldn't be as good if we didn't get the full Chuck experience. So I'm glad that we do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I save it for you guys because I know that you guys want the full Chuck.
And apparently
experience.
the show after us too.
Oh yeah, right. The post-game show, right? The post-game
show.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best to avoid Rob Rowe now. So.
I'm still waiting for Chuck to still be in here, like when the intro finishes playing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
For the 9 o'clock hour.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's been close.
I'm now just going to pick up my things. I'm going to play Wooden Indian and just walk out the door. Okay.
And if you believe that, guys, let me tell you, I've got a bridge I can sell you cheap.
It's like, see, I don't know how many days in a row I can do that, but I know I can do it one day in a row. You guys.
Such a cheap bridge. I'm telling you, man, this bridge is a gold mine.
I mean, you kind of resemble my own personality sometimes, Mr. McGuire, right?
Notice I'm at my desk working on the podcast before you're out of the chair.
Yeah, before I'm out of the chair. See, and Jamie can say to himself, I've heard all this. I don't need to hear any more. I'll just go to my office and move on, little doggy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been there for 3 hours, so I feel like I'm not needed at that point.
You've had more than enough of the Chuck experience. Man.
What we need to do, Jamie, is really put it to the test. If we put David and Craig Wells together.
Yeah.
Chuck might make it out of there by the end of the first segment.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody wants to know if Coach Gerlich ever asked me of my opinion of a game on a flight home. No. No, she does not. She does not. And I've learned just to keep my head down and be to myself. I have learned to do that. Mavericks won last night, so they get to continue to play. They won 120-106. I heard the two pros and a Cup of Joe's guy talking, Brady Quinn and LeVar Arrington talking yesterday, going, and I think one of them raised this question. I think it was LeVar Arrington that raised this question about, if the Mavericks were to win a series in the NBA playoffs, does that help the Maverick fans forget the trade or make a deep run? And Brady Quinn, and I think I agree with this, they'd have to win the whole doggone thing before they could even think about giving some kind of forgiveness to Nico, the general manager of the Mavericks. Don't you think? I mean, I think they're going to have really, really long memories of trading Luka.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Chuck. I feel like it would be almost getting to the finals or winning a title. It would take that to make Mavs fans get over it. It might be the winning a title thing.
I think so too. I mean, because he was a generational player. I mean, and you just don't see those kind of guys traded in any sport. It's almost like I'd almost like to think, how did the Edmonton Oilers fans feel about Wayne Gretzky getting traded? Maybe he had run his course there. But obviously they had a great amount of success. But I just think that in order for them to get over anything, they're going to have to win it. They're going to have to win a title with this group in a pretty short order. Otherwise, they're going to go, see, we shouldn't have traded Luka. See, we shouldn't have traded Luka. See, we shouldn't have traded Luka.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep. Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Jamie, tonight will you guys say From the Valley of the Sun here in Tempe?
That's probably not something you'll hear from me, maybe, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Valley of the Sun. That's where you'll be tonight with Red Raider baseball. Okay. They'll take on the Sun Devils of Arizona State, and we'll have it for you at 8. Play-by-play at 8:30. Mac Hewer will hurl for the Red Raiders, and hopefully he'll hurl well and long into the evening. That would be awesome blossom. Before we get to some more baseball, a couple things from football. Here is Joey McGuire on what you will see at the spring game on Saturday at 2 o'clock at Jones Stadium.
We want everybody to come out. It'll be your first time to get a look at these guys. I think it's a really good group of guys. It's been a lot of fun this spring. We've got a lot of work to do, but we've also come a long ways when you're talking about putting in a brand new offense and a brand new defense. Just the operation, just how you move in and out of the huddle and you change. You kind of take some of that for granted whenever you've been in a system for 3 years, and all of a sudden you change your system, and not just coaches but players too. You kind of take it for granted, but it's been good.
I'll be interested to see how much I don't know that we'll notice how much it's different, Jamie, on Saturday. It's probably going to get into the game situation, but then even when he says getting in and out of the huddle, I wonder how much we'll really notice that as just novice fans. I'm sure there'll be some guys there in the stands that'll point out, and they'll have it all diagnosed. I
hope I'm not sitting next to that guy.
And then there'll be others who say, we used to do this, then we did this, then we did this, then we did this. Now we're doing this, then we do this, then this. So I don't know that the average, Joe,
Jeff, make sure you save that first part, please.
Joe Blow, football fan, is really going to understand, getting in and out of the huddle a whole lot. But it is interesting. I mean, you're changing up your defense and changing up your offense and changing up you got a lot of changes. Maybe it is better that we're playing all these patsies to begin things with, so that we can hopefully beat them up and learn how to, run our offense and run our defense and get in and out of the huddle and communicate with the coaches. And that way, when you're playing the real teams, you'll go, okay, now we got this down.
Yeah, I think you're making a lot of sense there as far as playing the teams that you have on your schedule that maybe should make it a little bit easier for you, knowing that you are instilling new offenses and new defenses. That's the thing about the spring game. I can't imagine that you're going to see too much, right? They're going to be so incredibly vanilla.
Yes.
Because they don't want anybody else to see what you got going on. So I don't know that you're going to learn, oh, so that's how many are where we're going to rush, where we're going to blitz from, or, that's the way we're going to do this or going to do that. I just don't think there'll be a ton of that going on. I think it's more about seeing individuals, and in my opinion, when you're talking about a spring game and saying, hey, well, that guy, he looks like he can be really good, or I thought he played well. And really, it's more about skill position players than anything else. You're not gonna say that much about an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle.
Look at how he stepped out of that block and stepped up and hit that guy and went to that kind of stuff. I'm going to make a pledge. It's not a promise; it's a pledge. Okay, so when you make a pledge, it's kind of a promise. When you make a promise, it really is a promise. I'm going to make a pledge not to fall in love with a receiver or a running back on Saturday that I'm going to declare as the next. Oh man, this guy's awesome, because I've done that before and it's just never panned out.
Yeah, that's no fun. I think it's fun to watch because you're going to get a glimpse at some young receivers here this weekend.
Yeah, because all the other ones are injured.
The other guys being banged up. So yeah, I think it's good to be excited about some of those young guys, and maybe your running backs, and what those three guys look like back there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and Will Hammond as well. You can get excited about him.
Yeah. All that stuff. Okay. Bullfighter can't wait to hear about the punter or the kicker. Okay. Well, I'll be your Johnny on the spot reporter. All right. The coordinators were asked this, and Coach McGuire was asked this. He was asked, why are they closer to a Big 12 championship?
Well, I think, one, talent makes you a better coach. I think we've upgraded our roster in a couple of ways. I think, one, whenever you start getting your guys that are in year three, Sherry's now in year 4, Ben Roberts is now in year 4, Coy Aiken's now in year 4. And then when you start talking about the other guys that are in year 3, that you recruited, you expect them, because now they've been in a weight room, a college weight room for that long. And then, we brought in some really talented guys. When you look at Howard Sampson and Romello, and, you look at Joyner, and you just Carter, and I can go on, Skylar and David Bailey. And then you look in the secondary, Bryce Polak and Amir Boyd, who's had a really, really good spring. Another guy that quietly has had a good spring. You bring in that kind of talent, it's a lot of fun to coach, and then it raises everybody around them. It really does. It raises everybody around them, and it's going to make us a better football team.
Gotta hope so, right?
Yep.
From your lips to God's ears, man. And but he's right. Better players make better coaches. Did you know that, Jamie? That do you kind of translate that better employees make better people like you that are leaders of organizations like this?
They definitely make it less drama. That's for certain.
So we're always looking for an upgrade around here. So I hope you eventually get it, Jamie.
I'm at the top now.
Oh, you're at the top
with the head man of the morning drive. It doesn't get any higher than that.
It doesn't. I don't know if we still have that, but that was a shining moment for me when Coach Tuberville declared me the head man of the morning drive. You're the head man of the morning drive.
I'm all up in that, homie.
Today's question of the day should be, what was a bigger moment, that or Joey McGuire telling you he liked your coat?
I need that jacket. It looks good, man.
Here's my business card.
All right, thank you.
Let me know how I can help.
I will.
I'll never get over this. Never get over this.
Man, I love David Collier.
He is so sneaky with that camera, you know.
He is, man. He's always...
How dare he have a camera when we're waiting on a press conference?
He is so sneaky. So sneaky like that.
He's just conniving too. Like he's always looking.
Right.
He's always looking to pull off a heist of some sort.
He's
with
lurking.
That camera.
He's lurking.
Yes.
He's
lurking.
lurking in the shadows, you know, and you know, I mean, he even has video of me shaking the hand of Coach McCaslin right after he was introduced as the new, you know, head ball coach on the basketball team, you know. We get this. With the advancement of drone technology, can any outdoor practice be safe from prying eyes if they really want to spy? Now, that's a good question. The other question I had in my mind is, what keeps some GA from, you know, Colorado or any other school that you're playing, Kent State, for God's sake, you know, flying into Lubbock and just walking in with, you know, like the rest of us? I mean, you know, what is it? I guess they're on the honor system, not to scout these things, but...
Nothing. That's why I say that I don't think that they will keep.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't run their true offense. It's very vanilla.
It'll be more vanilla than vanilla, which sometimes if you don't get the right box, they're not quite vanilla enough for you. Vanillas.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, we've been talking a lot of Red Raider football, specifically about the spring game coming up on Saturday, so I'm going to stay there for today. Your answer cannot be, I want to see everybody come out not hurt.
All right.
Or uninjured. What are you looking for? What do you want to see? Let's go with that. What do you want to see Saturday in the spring game? What would make you happy walking away?
Can I give you two? just
sure.
Popped off the top of my head. One, I would love to see a 50-yard field goal. Okay, just give me a straight up 50-yard field goal. It doesn't have to be into the wind or with the wind or anything. Just kick it through the pipes, and that would be from Upton Belafont, the 6'1" junior from Tennessee. Okay, and then the other thing that I'd love to see is I'd like to see in the air, okay, a 75-yard pass from Will Hammond. Not like throw it 25 and run 50. I'd like be at your own 25, throw it in the end zone. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see. Or any of the other quarterbacks, feel free. But I think Will Hammond's got the arm to be able to do that.
All right, Jeff.
That's a really long throw.
I know.
It really is.
Like a 50-yard bomb.
Okay.
Is a really long throw.
I know.
Like in the air 50 yards. I think someone has been watching too many highlights of Patrick Mahomes, but okay.
No, I haven't seen any highlights from Mahomes this morning. I did. I'll be quite honest with you. I did take a lot of medicine this morning, though.
Okay, so this is going to take a little explanation for the answer I've got. Balance. If I see a 50-yard play, I want a turnover on the defensive side. If I see a huge run by a running back, I want to see the linebackers get in the backfield and knock him down. I don't want to see either side just dominate.
Yeah,
because then all I'm saying is how bad is the other side. It's not how good it is. I can accept that a wide receiver is going to get open or a defensive back is going to make a play, but it needs to be balanced.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that, Jeff. I like that. I am going to go, I'm kind of with Chuck in the areas, but different in what I'm actually looking for them. I want to be able to walk away from Saturday's spring game being confident in our kickers and in Will Hammond. I want to feel like we're in great shape in both places. So does that mean they're perfect? No, not necessarily. But does that mean that I just feel like, hey, this is not going to be a problem area with A, the kicking game, and in B, if we needed Will Hammond, we should be confident in him that he's the guy and he can handle it. So that I don't feel like that's too much to ask. I feel like I have a good chance of being happy because I think very highly of Will Hammond. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. So, and I don't know about the kickers; they're new. So, I feel like those two areas I want to go into the season not having to worry about them. And I think I can see enough in the spring game to feel that way.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. I don't know if mine or Jeff are reasonable because there have been times when we've walked away from the spring game going, man, what about that offense? And I'm like, God, that defense sucks.
And by times, you mean like 2001 to 20, 22-ish?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cameron writes in this morning on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, the longest air yard pass in NFL history, according to Next Gen Stats, is Baker Mayfield's 70.5-yard Hail Mary against the Baltimore Ravens in 2020. Okay, well.
Well,
it's
they didn't have Will Hammond.
It's still out there, right? it's still out there. It's probably not going to happen, but I mean, I think throwing the ball vertically. I think you'll see a lot of that this year. I don't know that you'll see that in the spring game on Saturday, but I do think you'll be more vertical this year. And part of the reason is because I think you'll have guys that not only can get downfield, but you'll have a quarterback that has the ability to do that, hopefully, and then an offensive line, most importantly, that can give him the extra half second or so that he needs for those guys to zip down the sideline, right?
Yeah, it matters. No question.
Yeah. And I don't think we're going to see this because I don't think they're going to unleash the defensive line. But, man, everything that you hear, whether it's kind of on the sideline or just around town or from what we've heard from the coaches, so to speak, but that defensive line just sounds like like you ever go like some places and that you just see like dogs on a chain, and like if they were to unleash the dogs on the chain, like you'd just be mauled to death. I feel like that's what this defensive line is. They are all dogs on a chain, ready to just get after the quarterback.
I like it. I mean, I think that's what you want from your defensive lineman. That's great, man. This is from things that you've seen with our defensive line, or things that you have heard, or things that you expect?
Heard just, how good it's going to be and how much pressure they're going to be and how much better they're going to be. And this guy's going to be the Big 12 player of the year or the defensive lineman of the year. I mean, just all those things.
Who are you hearing these things
Just
from?
Various people. Just
various people.
Yeah,
Well, their portal rankings say to you that they should be those things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So,
do these various people live inside your head?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Mm-hmm. No.
I mean, if there's ever been a better way to describe what you want out of your defensive line, I don't know what it is. I think that what you described, Chuck, is exactly what we want.
Mm-hmm.
We want guys that are trying to break through a chain and go feast on the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
It's like they'd be feasting on your leg. They were these chained dogs.
Yeah. Did you ever deliver papers for a living, Jamie?
Yeah, I was just about to say, what hood are you hanging out with?
Yeah.
And no, I did not deliver papers.
There's a house in my head from my youth, from when we lived on the Missouri side, and typical of the Missouri side, where I'd have to, ride my bike and deliver papers, and then you'd have to collect from these people as well. And this is one dog at the top of the hill. It's like a brown house, and I can still see that dog go, and coming after me, and that chain just being long enough to keep me from going to the front door, and me going, I'm not going to that door. I am not going to that door.
So you never got their money?
I eventually got it, $7.40, but it was painful.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We'll have Lubbock Cooper baseball on the air for you tonight. They take on the Monterey Plainsmen. That'll be at 7 o'clock on 100.7 The Score. High school season obviously winding down, getting ready for postseason play, et cetera, et cetera. And then Red Raider baseball tonight from the Valley of the Sun. There in Tempe tonight, the Phoenix area, with Texas Tech taking on Arizona State tonight. That's an 8 o'clock broadcast time and a 8:30-ish first pitch time from Tempe tonight with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Feeling bullish, Jamie, this week?
Arizona State's a good baseball team, Chuck.
Okay.
Tech is 3-10 on the road this year.
Okay.
It'll take the Red Raiders playing much better than they have to win a series here this weekend. So I'm not saying it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Play like you did on Friday night last week, and you got a chance. No doubt. You're good enough. And Arizona State has scuffled a little bit of late. They've dropped their last two Big 12 series. They lost a game to Purdue on Monday. And I'll just let you know that's the first time I've ever known that Purdue had a baseball team.
Okay.
And
you're proud of them for having one, though. I mean, it's in Indiana. It's Big Ten. It's cold weather country. I mean, it'd probably been easy for them to opt out, right?
I guess so. Sure. Yeah, but they're not really peaking right now. I think they're. I expected them to be a little bit better than they are. So. You've shown that when you can put it all together like you did last Friday, you can be a really good baseball team. You can play with anybody in this conference, but it's going to take more of those performances if you're going to win the series coming up. Again, you've got on the road here at Arizona State. Next week, you're home against Arizona, and then the week after that, you're on the road at West Virginia. Those are all three teams that are ahead of you in the standings, and you're going to have to play better if you're going to get series wins against any of the three.
Man, that sounds like a pretty good pregame talk. We're going to zip this audio over to Coach Tadlock so he can play it for the boys before they take the field tonight.
Yeah, not so much, probably.
I think Coach Tadlock thinks very highly of you to the point where if we sent that to him, he'd say, "Yeah, old Jamie, he's pretty good at that stuff."
Don't you remember when Hacks asked him that question a couple of years ago, like at a coach's show? Hey, Coach, are you real big on the rah-rah speeches or whatever, And he made some joke about, oh, yeah, we'll send Jamie over there into the locker room. He said, he thinks he does a little talk show, so he thinks he can, thinks he knows what's going on or something. He made some crack about me, so all in good fun, of course. But
right.
Yeah, I'm not the rah-rah guy.
No,
I'm not anybody to get anybody pumped up. I think you guys I think I'm not breaking any news there.
No, but I mean, I think that, but you kind of, you mimic their style. I mean, you fit in with their culture. You're one of them, so I think when they hear that sound reasoning like that, they're like, oh, there'll be a lot of head nodding.
I've heard, I mean, he's a pretty level-headed guy, and he's low-key, and he's calm, but I don't think he would be mad at me for telling you. I've heard him give some pregame speeches, and he gets fired up.
He can peel the paint a little bit?
Yeah, he gets fired up.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows when the time is to, to push some buttons and get guys going, and he knows when not to. It feels like right now would be a good time.
I mean, never forget, Jamie's been on the bus when they got back to the hotel or get to the stadium, and it was, "We'll see you inside, Jamie."
Yeah, there was times when I was told you might want to get off right now. So
I have my spidey sense on that kind of stuff is pretty high. I have a pretty good vibe on that. Going, it might be a good time to exit stage right.
Yeah, I was told. And then there was one speech, I can't remember, this has been a long time ago, where he was going off about he didn't think the team was playing hard and didn't think there was effort on the field and weren't playing good ball, and he whips and says, heck, even Jamie could have seen that in the press box. I was like, why are you calling me out, Coach?
Why invoking my name?
Yeah. Why am I being brought into this? I didn't say anything. Well, I probably did say something about it, but that's a different story.
Any concerns with Mac Hewer getting a 1 day less rest, or is it like, hey, these guys are young and their bounce back is pretty good, or is that a viable concern tonight, Jamie?
I would say I don't have a concern because and he threw 108 pitches last time out, which is his highest number of the year. But I suspected before the series started, and I think I told you this earlier this week, I thought they would keep him on Friday and not push him a day ahead. But the fact that they feel confident in him starting today has me believing that they think he can handle it. So does that mean he goes – they push his pitch count back a little bit? Maybe. I don't really know. But remember, he's coming off having an off week and then a week where he didn't throw many pitches against Cincinnati in the opener of that series.
Right.
So he should be well rested to a certain degree.
Now, they're listing on the notes that I got last night for tomorrow, TBA for Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because Coach Tadlock made his announcement in the press conference that it was going to be TBA for Friday and Zane Petty on Saturday. Okay, and then I got a text from the sports information director saying, "Hey, here's what we're going with," and then like 15 minutes later, I got hold off on that. They're not exactly certain, so we might see a change to that. I don't know if that means Zane gets moved up to Friday or what. I'm not really sure what that means, but they've not quite decided what they're going to do yet.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.